Toronto Maple Leafs general manager Brad Treliving has recently achieved some crucial objectives in the past fortnight, namely securing the services of star center Austin Matthews and coach Sheldon Keefe. Regrettably, there remain numerous uncertainties for the Toronto Maple Leafs, primarily revolving around extending William Nylander and devising strategies to adhere to the salary cap constraints. The 2023-24 National Hockey League salary cap is set at $83.5 million, and according to CapFriendly.com, the Leafs currently find themselves exceeding this limit with a total cap utilization of approximately $85.64 million. This figure encompasses the salaries of Matt Murray and Jake Muzzin, both of whom are on the long-term injured reserve. So, how much breathing room do the Toronto Maple Leafs need to create? Given the present roster situation, Treliving must free up approximately $2.2 million, and one can't help but ponder where this necessary relief will originate. At this juncture, CapFriendly.com indicates that the Toronto Maple Leafs have 3 goaltenders on their roster, and it's virtually certain that all 3 won't be present on opening night. Treliving signed veteran Martin Jones a few weeks ago as a safety net in case Joseph Woll or Ilya Samsonov were to sustain injuries. Should both of these goaltenders emerge from training camp unscathed, Jones will be subject to waivers, allowing the Leafs to gain $875,000 in cap relief. While there's a chance Jones may be claimed, it won't deter the organization from attempting to discreetly send him to the AHL. However, even after this move, Treliving will still need to unearth an additional $1.3 million in cap relief. One alternative entails placing free agent acquisition Dylan Gambrell and his $775,000 salary on waivers, considering he's, at best, the 13th forward on the team. Yet, this will only address part of the cap crunch, leaving the team with the bare minimum of forwards. A final option to generate cap space involves waiving Mark Giordano and/or Connor Timmins. This scenario isn't favored by the team, as it would force them to operate with the absolute minimum roster size, potentially leaving them short-handed in the event of an injury. Of these potential moves, the only certainty is Jones being dispatched to the Marlies, meaning the team must still find $1.3 million in cap space. Consequently, a roster move is imminent, and here are the 2 most plausible options. Kalle Jarnkrok, $2.1 million. Kyle Dubas inked Jarnkrok to a 4-year deal last summer with a cap hit of $2.1 million. Jarnkrok played a pivotal utility role, seamlessly transitioning across the roster and contributing on every line. He concluded the season with career-best numbers, tallying 20 goals and 39 points. A potential acquiring team would inherit 3 years of his $2.1 million cap hit, $6.3 million in cap allocation, with just $4.975 million left on his contract, StatsNHL.com. By parting ways with Jarnkrok, the Leafs would free up nearly $800,000 in cap space, enabling them to activate Nick Robertson's $797,000 when he's back in action. Jarnkrok is anticipated to slot into the third line alongside Max Domi and David Kampf, a spot that could also be contested by Robertson or possibly Pontus Holmberg or Sam Lafferty. Traditionally, when Dubas sought to attract players to Toronto, he would entice them with front-loaded contracts and generous signing bonuses. However, this was not the case with T.J. Brodie. Brodie's deal lacked signing bonuses and featured backloaded payments, with $7.5 million dispersed during the season, despite a $5 million cap hit in the final year of his contract. While many regarded Brodie as a dependable stay-at-home defenseman, he regressed significantly midway through the previous season, and at 33 years old, expectations for improvement are minimal. If Treliving could orchestrate a trade involving Brodie, it would alleviate the team's cap constraints for the season and potentially bring in an impact player. Brodie does possess a 10-team no-trade clause, so the Toronto Maple Leafs GM may need to sweeten the deal to facilitate his move.